Friends, thanks again for listening to me. I'm always excited to do these things. So let's talk about the Bitcoin black paper. I like the designation. I didn't name it the Bitcoin black paper, but it's a nice counterpart to the Bitcoin white paper. Let's talk first about elementary security pricing, because we made the case in a paper that Bitcoin is not a currency. It didn't prove to be a currency. This may turn out to be a currency. Okay, Bitcoin can't. This at least has some stability to it. And usually the way currencies spring organically is via uses. A currency is something that when expressed in it, a basket of goods has a minimum variance, like the gettone in Italy was used as a currency. Well, anyway, this is in a paper. I'm here to talk about elementary security pricing and why we have a special situation with Bitcoin that unless you think that you have some magic way to work with numbers, must be worth zero. So the price of a security, period T, in a rational market, of course, how do you price it? I'm not talking about a Ponzi, I'm talking about real security. You got cash flow, C at the end of CT plus one, plus the expectation of the price at period T plus two. Say you're going to sell it T plus one, sorry, at the end of the period. So, and you discount that 1 plus RD, okay? This is cited security pricing. Now you got to think again, how will other rational people value it at the end of that period at T plus one? Well, simply, same thing. This is conditional on information period T, which is applied here, by some mechanism I won't do here. It ends up being E expectation P T plus 2, conditional on information now. Okay, seen now. So, and then of course at T plus 2, you're going to assume that someone will redo the same exercise. So this is going to be CT plus 2 plus 1 plus RD. So someone will do the same exercise. So you end up with the following. So the price today is going to be equal to discounting. And by the way, let's not discuss this, it's not relevant, but that the discount rate may include risk premium, not too relevant to the point for now. The sum I equal 1 to n of CI, the cash flow you're going to get, plus 1 plus RD period n, the expectation of Pn, T plus n. Okay? C, T plus I, if you want. What does this leave us with? This is quite interesting. This is zero for Bitcoin. Think of a business that will never make any money. And its only value is what you can sell it for to someone else. So Ponzi, except that Ponzi's may not have absorbent barrier. This has an absorbent barrier. If there's technological breakthrough or something, people abandon it, it's gone. And then now, this is a limit as n goes to infinity of that quantity. There you go. Because keep going. You may tell me, well, you know, I'm going to be able to sell it to someone at some point, so maybe you should block it. I say, no, that person will buy from using the same model. You got to assume that it's going to be rational. No? I don't know any other model for valuation of security pricing. People may disagree. This may be stochastic. This. Okay, that's fine. This all pays you a dividend later, not before. Okay, this is all going to be liquidation cost. That's fine, but there's none of that applies to Bitcoin. Now, I don't know. Now, what is central here is that in the rational expectation model, Pn should not grow faster than 1 plus Rd, or 1 plus Rd. Okay? It must not grow because otherwise it would be worth more than everything else. It would be worth infinity. So if an item has a price of infinity and everything else has finite price, we got a problem. So this is why you rule out cases. In the rational bubble model, Pn grows exactly at 1 plus R D rate to infinity. Okay, if it goes back down, you have a problem. Okay, so far this is standard. What I'm introducing is on top of that an absorption barrier, absorbing barrier, and this is elementary. I'm saying very, very elementary, but it will be a little more complicated, or actually simpler to make a decision once you add an absorbing barrier. In other words, it's like someone dies. Okay, so the person's dead. It's past dependent. So whereas gold, if you're valuing gold here, gold may have a use eventually later for whatever. Okay, but gold doesn't die. You leave it in the ground. You leave it in the ground. Okay, this is in gold. You may say, well, gold earns no dividend, but would I pay a penny to hold this gold chain? Yes, I would. Okay, so there we go. It's like you look at it as a dividend. How much would I pay for consumption? With Bitcoin, there's no such thing. Bitcoin doesn't have degradation properties, therefore no absorbent barrier. Okay, so let me continue now with the absorbent barrier, which requires to use the share screen, and it's going to be a little more technical, but I hope this is clear. It's elementary so far. Thanks. So this is the paper. I mean the comments on the paper that I've been adding in a file. So this is the equation we saw earlier. PT is a discounted rate chained by iterated expectation. We end up having this equation up at 0 equals 0 here for Bitcoin, and this is 0 usually for securities unless you have rational bubble. So in the sense that everything for you is going to be dividend earned over the life of an item. Okay, so this second term here is typically 0 in economics. It must be 0 outside the rational bubble. And I say, okay, that of course we cannot consider a faster rate, but things get more interesting with the absorbent barrier. Now, what is an absorbent barrier? We use a failure model. That's the probability of failure. If it's infinitesimal over, an infinity of lifetime, it's going to go probability 1 of something failing. You see, there's no item, no matter how robust, that doesn't fail at infinity. Okay, that's the idea. If you have a failure, or at least fails within some conceivable time horizon. So so we define stopping time as a time to failure, and then okay, the expectation, what will happen? This expectation operator here is different now. You have the value of the security should it not fail times the probability of it not failing, plus the value of the security should it fail, times the probability of the security failing. So, and then what happens, because beyond the failure rate, the security is not going to come back. Okay, let's call it an absorbing barrier. Or in language of Markov chain, a probability of 0, a transition probability of 0. So if we start, this is a naive Markov chain model. So if we do that with Bitcoin, we end up having, instead of 1 over 1 plus RD as a discount rate, 1 minus pi over 1 plus RD to the nth power as a discount rate, which means the following. For the price today to be positive, because remember, when it fails at zero. It has no residual value, unlike gold and other items. It fails, you give it to scrap metal or anything. Here, no. So for the price to be positive, PT must grow forever, not at RD plus pi, a rate 1 plus RD plus pi, exponential actually, 1 plus RD plus pi. So and you may tell me, well, it may grow a lot now and then reach a plateau. The minute it reaches a plateau of growth, it's dead, because pi has such an impact, that force of mortality on it, that will die. So this is my 2 cents about it. I just introduced a hazard model, which people in insurance, people in reliability analysis, people in these businesses connected to risk management know very well. And absurdly, it's not used here. So to conclude, it's very simple. Whatever you want to say about Bitcoin, if it's not a currency, first of all, it's a currency. What the hell is it doing up at 35, whatever, 34,000, or 33,000 now? It's not a currency. It should be. If it's a currency, it must be stable. Now, if it's not a currency, it must be a security. Okay, now if it's a security and it's not a Ponzi, it got to be something else. A new term you got to invent for some mega Ponzi. Imagine that you're buying a bakery, and you know the bakery will never make any money. That's a business that doesn't make bread. Okay, it doesn't buying a business, and that business is all entire existence hinges on selling it to someone. Okay, so some idiot is going to buy it, and that person will buy it thinking, hey, some idiot will buy it. So you're going to have an infinite chain of idiot at infinity to keep buying it, and with no accident happening. The failure can come from anything, come from loss of interest in it, temporarily or not, from miners deciding that they want to do something else with their lives, all of them. Okay, it's a small, tiny probability, 100 billion, but still, okay, over time it accumulates, or a problem with the internet, somewhere that makes it fork, and then the thing loses in value, and there's no more incentive to maintain that system. Now, if you tell me that it will not fail, it's infallible, I say, okay, you're talking in theology, because as far as I know, there's only one thing that is infallible, is a deity. Okay, so it's God. God is infallible. All right. So if you're talking about that, yes, fine. But typically, we always, in risk management, assume that things have fallibility somewhere. You just don't know where it is. So thank you for listening to me. Have a great day. I'm gonna resume some of the Twitter fights. As you see, I'm always happy when I have Twitter fights. I sort of enjoy them, particularly when I'm waiting in line at borders, or to get through security checks in the airport. It's always fun, because people see me smile. There was a house guy smiling at 5 a.m. in JFK at Paris airport. But these are Twitter fights. So thank you for listening to me, and have an excellent day. Thanks.